All right, so getting back into this video, we left off with lines 45 through 50 where there's like a qualifier or an exception given. So the journalists are the exception to the fact that people not liking the truth per se. And so if we go back down, in my perilous but earnest effort to do so here tonight, I must begin by saying that if there is much that is wrong with the American press, there is much that is also right with it. So I'm just gonna, I actually want to mark this entire paragraph because there's a qualifier here in saying this. So there's a lot that's bad, right? But there's also a lot that's good. So, and she says, in my perilous and earnest effort, which is saying like, I'm really going to try to not mess this up. I'm really going to try. Ooh, that's a horrible try. To not mess this up, first of all. And secondly, put a 1 here. And secondly, there's a lot that's bad. But, and so again, qualifier. There's a lot of good. So I know then that you will bear with me. If somebody is bear with me, so just, so she's kind of saying, take my criticisms in stride. Much as it may go against your professional grain, so as much as it goes against your professional grain, she's saying, like, I know you're going to want to call me out, but please don't. If I ask you to accept some of the good with the bad, even though it may not make such good copy for your newspaper, for the plain fact is that the U.S. daily press today is not inspiringly good. If something is not inspiringly good, means we don't want to... it's not an inspiration. We don't want to be. This isn't the example we want to go for. It is just far and away the best press in the world. So it is just far and away the best press in the world. So it, again, the U.S. press is not, and I'm going to put this in big letters, not ideal. Okay. Now, great. We read through this poem, or sorry, not this poem. We read through this text. We're going to start to make our annotations. I probably should have used red in hindsight. We'll use orange, this one. So let's go through, what does this example suggest about the writer's values or needs? So what are some things we can identify in the text that indicate the writer's values, beliefs, or needs? Well, one, we know that she's a journalist, and I'm going to circle this up in the prompt because that's where we find this. And I'm just going to put tiny little asterisks next to the things that talk about our writer. She's happy and flattered to speak here. She does mark, you asked me to come here. So she knows what she's asked to do, what she's been asked to do. It is risky in a lot of ways. Like, it goes against what journalists want. So I'm going to put is risky, but just know what I mean by this is she knows she's been put in a bad position. She's almost been set up to fail, right? Because she has to critique her peers and nobody likes this. What else? We know, and I'm gonna underline Actually, I'll circle it. Evokes humor in here because she does use a lot of humor. So she believes that that the American journalist system needs to be critiqued. So she believes. Ooh, what happened there? The U.S. system needs critiqued. I'm going to put needs fixed just for shorthand's sake. Now let's go to our audience. And I really think that when you're talking about an audience, you will see there are hints of who our audience is in the actual passage, obviously, right? But we can find a lot about the audience in the prompt. So we know we're at the Women's National Press Club. We know that there's a bunch of journalists. So journalists, they don't like to be critiqued. She mentions this. And then I'm going to put understanding here. But I'm going to put it with a question mark. And the reason why I'm putting it with a question mark, because if we look at this paragraph, okay, if we look at this paragraph, she indicates, I'm just going to bring that here, she indicates that these people should be understanding, but we don't really know if they are, right? So she hopes, we also know they want the truth. And she kind of mentions this earlier on too. And then the last one that we're going to pay really close attention to, at least that you were supposed to pay close attention to according to the video, it was the purpose. And I need to scroll up if possible. All right, so purpose. How does this example relate to the writer's purpose? How does it contribute to the purpose? What is her purpose? So when we're talking about purpose and this word message that appears in the prompt are more or less the same thing. What does she want to do by saying whatever this, that she's going to say? Whatever she's going to say, what is she trying to do? Well, she's trying to change the U.S. press. And I'm gonna write U.S. press for the better. We don't necessarily know what her better version is, right? Because this is just the start of what she was saying. This isn't the ending. We don't know what her actual speech was. This is just how she introduced her speech. This is how she set us up. Like it says in the prompt, how Luce uses this introduction. This is only the introduction of her paper, not the full one. So how does this example relate to the writer's purpose? How does it contribute to the purpose? How is she using this introduction to contribute to purpose? Overall, what is this introduction? We know that there's humor. We know that she has, in a lot of ways, acknowledged, sorry, the spelling, acknowledged the negatives. I'm going to put negatives. She's acknowledged the fact that people don't want to hear criticism. She's acknowledged the fact that you're journalists and you want the truth, but this is going to be hard to hear. She set us up to know that, well, for lack of a better way to put this, the truth hurts. The truth hurts. Nobody likes to hear the truth. But she's like, I'm going to tell it to you anyways because the truth hurts, but we need to hear it. And I'm about to tell you what that truth is, and then she'll give the rest of her speech. Now, We can mark these other things: exigence, context, message. Do I think that what we've annotated at this point would be enough to write this essay? I do. Is there more that we could annotate? Absolutely. There's always more. Annotations are not clean. They're very messy. So if you're turning in annotations that are just 3 little paragraphs and you're like, yeah, I did this. No, you didn't do it. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. If you, at this point in this class, are reading a text and not marking it like this, like what we've just done, you're not doing it the right way. You're not making the most of what you can actually do. Okay? In the future, I'm going to ask that your annotations look something like this, and I would say this would be the bare minimum. You addressing writer, audience, and purpose in your annotations will be the absolute bare minimum. If you have time, exigence, context, message are really important. We did kind of address message, but it's really, really important that you're looking at all aspects of the text that you're analyzing, because if you have not thought through exactly what is being said, how it's being said, we didn't even talk about the use of language here. We kind of mentioned it in passing, but there's still a lot more that you can do. Then you're doing a disservice to this type of analysis. All right, so I'm going to stop the video there. I feel like we've done an adequate job of annotating this. If you still have questions about how you should be working through these passages, because this is not something that's going to go away anytime soon, please get in touch with me. I'll be happy to answer any questions for you. But it's really important that you understand this concept of annotating, because this is something that you will not only use in this class, and I cannot stress that enough. This is a great way even to take notes when you go to college in your sciences, and breaking down what the text is actually saying or what an argument is saying is a really valuable skill as you move forward in your life and in your career. So please, if you don't understand something, reach out to me. Have a great day, guys.